Welcome to Black History Month on 98.7 FM. A warm greetings to listeners and all members of our community. I want to welcome you into this space.
My ancestors were kings of old. They ruled the world in all of its gold. But look at me.
And now, for the first time ever, you are going to gain a special insight into the philosophy and opinions of one of the greatest men to have ever walked this earth. We've been celebrating a remarkable life and legacy throughout the 31 days of October as we bring you the resurrection of Marcus Mosiah Garvey, a series which will be presented by me, Jermaine Brown, featuring 31 brothers from across our community, all chosen to resurrect different speeches, articles, and essays from Marcus Garvey daily. Now, before we get into today's main speech, here's some important information that you need to know about the man, the myth, the movement, and the legend. Marcus Mosiah Garvey was the founder and organizer of the largest independent black movement in the world, the Universal Negro Improvement Association and the African Communities League. At the heights of success, the organization had a worldwide membership of over 11 million subscribed members. Now, this was an excellent feat, especially when we consider that this happened during a time of no smartphones, no internet, and no social media, and during the midst of 2 world wars. Yet he dared to travel the world, even to non-English speaking regions, spreading his message of self-love and empowerment. Now, this was at a time when it was particularly dangerous for black men and women to wander outside of their own homes. But these factors did not stop the man and the movement, for he had at his disposal an unmatched confidence. He did not fear failure. He did not care about the laughter and the ridicule hurled at him, for he had a fearless passion for the advancement of black people worldwide that fueled his mission. Now, I'm intrigued to know more about the mind of this man and how he accomplished so much. What can I take from him that I can apply to my life today? I wonder.
They passed it on to me. I've got to work.
Today's program is 26 of our series, with just 5 days left to go, and was delivered in Canada, August 1937. This speech is titled Self-Reliance and the Individual Responsibility. Today's narration is by Damien Morgan from Birmingham, UK.
You are listening to an Honour Level production featuring the Resurrection of Marcus Mosiah Garvey series.
On a level.
You are listening to an Honour Level production featuring the Resurrection of Marcus Mosiah Garvey series.
Mr. President, Reverend, Sir, Delegates, and friends of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, citizens of Toronto. About a year ago, I spoke to you from this pulpit. It was then a pleasant duty. I returned to London, and in keeping with the arrangements made, I am back in Toronto to preside over your regional conference, and today is the first public meeting of that conference. Needless to say, it is a pleasure again for me to be here. Always a pleasure to be among the people of our race and to talk to them on the things that are of import. The things that are to our interest. We are still in a very serious position. We must discuss it, and from the most serious point of view. I am not an alarmist. I do not indulge in scaring anybody, but I think it a duty to talk to you about the things that may be dangerous and ahead of you, with the hope of helping you to escape or prevent the danger. And so today, I am going to speak to you in my usual frank, plain and blunt manner. You can only drive home the truth when you say and do things serious enough for the person to hear, or at least to feel, to be disturbed, to be aroused, to be shocked. And I am going to shock you today. I'm not going to hand you anything on an ice cream dish, although some of you like to be served with lollipops and sweets. I do not pay compliments when they are not due. I have never even paid my wife a compliment. I'm going to tell you the truth today. This world is not a joke. Humanity is not here by accident. Realizing this, men and races of thought have devised ways and means of running and controlling this world, which they feel is their battleground for life. Man, as you must know, is a creature of two parts, one physical and one spiritual. The conscious man realizes that the spiritual part of him is something that he doesn't well understand. He has some idea about it, and the best idea he has been able to strike about it is that when he dies in the physical, he lives in the spiritual. That I endorse, even to the extent of being a Christian, a wholehearted Christian. I believe that man has a spirit and a soul, and when he dies in the physical, that soul goes on. I support religion when it is delivered in the proper way, but I am not an advocate of that religion, and I leave to you and others of the cloth the duty and task and responsibility of saving souls of men. I've selected the job to save the bodies of men. Because I believe it is as necessary to save the body as the soul, and if God didn't intend that, he never would have made man with a body. The two functions are right, saving the soul and saving the body. I believe there is one hell for the soul and one for the body. Clergymen try to save us from the hell of the soul. I am trying to save you from the hell of the body. Where men brutalize them, a man is going to be here for a long time, as he has been here for millions of years. It is well that we prepare ourselves to live here for generations to come. We have equal rights to live for eternity or for tomorrow, and I am not prepared to tell my people to die tomorrow, for that tomorrow may not come, but to live as long as eternity lasts. Therefore, make up your minds to live forever. I cannot visualize that God, who could be so good as he is, could be so contrary and wicked as some men would have him be, having men kicked about and saying, never mind, leave it to me. What is the idea of this lashing and kicking about? It shows prejudice, and surely God couldn't be prejudiced against his own creatures. I cannot visualize that God could be like the southern cracker. God is God. No respecter of persons, whether he comes from the north or south, from Africa or China. And therefore, if man is prejudiced, it is not with the will of God. And the man who submits to prejudice accepts it only because he is a fool. I do not want anybody to change my faith in God. And therefore, nobody can convert me to the belief that God intended one man to have all the cherries down here. Whoever those people are, you are entitled to your portion of everything that is in nature. A portion of the sun and moon is yours. A portion of the stars, yours. And that it shines on everybody and goes dark for everybody shows that God intended the same things for everybody. Why have God as a discriminating God? You wouldn't have any sunshine when other people have. But the fact that you get the same sunshine, the same weather, and live in the same climate shows God and nature have no prejudice against you, and therefore you are entitled to as much of this world as anybody else. Negroes, get busy. Japan isn't waiting on anybody to tell her that God didn't intend her to have what she wants. The Japanese just go about getting it. And Mussolini, to get Abyssinia, had to run the emperor out. Now it is left for us to run him out. And if I could live long enough, the most pleasant job I would ever have would be to find myself marching at the head of the army to get Mussolini, so as to give him a taste of what he gave Ras Casa in Addis Ababa. If you can't catch Koko, you can catch him shirt. It is an African saying, but true. My friends, I believe in the doctrine of an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. And if you can't get the eye today, get it tomorrow. But get it anytime you can. Get it anyhow. This is the history of mankind. Now remember, I'm not preaching a sermon. I'm talking politics. You know politics supersedes everything in this world. It is the science of government, whilst you are on earth. You cannot talk politics in heaven. I do not know if there is any spiritual politics, but I do know there is physical politics. And I'm talking that politics that has made men, made races, made nations. We want our equal share of everything in politics. I mean international politics, whereby the foundation of the nation is laid, whereby the foundation of the empire is laid, believing that it is necessary for our existence, we must lay the same foundation, otherwise we are lax in our duty and our responsibility. My friends, I am telling you, this world is not a joke. And God did not create man and the universe for a joke. And those of you who think that nothing depends on your action, you are making a terrible mistake, because it is a fact you are responsible why God has left you as you are and will ever leave you as you are to your own responsibility until you become conscious of it. Let us contemplate God and see what kind of being he could be if he were. From the fact that so much has happened which we calculate to be wrong, and it is not remedied outside of ourselves by him, shows that what we think to be wrong may not be wrong in his sight. Otherwise, he would have interfered. Some of you may think that it is wrong in the sight of God for the other people to keep the Negroes down as they are doing. You assume, therefore, that God is unreasonable to allow it. God has nothing to do with it. Otherwise, he would have manifested himself long ago. God is so serious that he does whatever he wants to do. He is not changeable like you and me. You cannot send in a banquet to heaven and get God to alter his laws. God made man once and was through making him. You cannot show me any man outside of Jesus Christ who was reincarnated. So you are going to get all the hell you are looking for right down here if you don't look after your own affairs. Your grandfathers have died here because they did not look after their affairs. and you will get had if you don't look after your own business. China, Japan, America, Russia are looking after their own businesses. Negroes, get busy quickly looking after yourselves and your business. And your business is to get as much out of the earth in common with other people as you can. Nature and God intended it for you, and you will have just as much as you want and can take. The other people who have taken and who have realized when they started out to get and to take that it was not so easy to get only with the hands. You are expecting to get only with your hands and run with your feet. When the other fellow wanted so much and had so little, he said, well, I cannot get these things with my hands. I must get them with science. I must get them with all the inventive schemes that I can get out of my mind. I will develop these things and use them. And Mussolini used them, whilst Haile Selassie was praying for God to come down and help him. You will lose everything in this world if you don't go after it yourself. Don't think God is going to make guns and send them down for you to use. Anything that you want, you must get it out of your mind. That is why God made you with a mind in addition to 2 hands and 2 feet. The Negro has not yet started to use his mind. The government of the world rests with the use of your mind, the use of your intelligence. And we can only win our place in the world when we can match intellect with intellect, industry with industry, and there will be no Jim Crowism affecting you. Why do you think the French and the English and the Americans are removing their subjects from China? It is because the Japanese guns can be fired further than their guns. They know you have nothing in science or in the higher arts, because they know what you are and what you say and do. So they calmly push you aside. But they can't push themselves aside, because they know not whom they are pushing aside. Go on the streets of Toronto, and any well-dressed white man receives respect from everybody, even the policeman, simply because everybody knows that it is likely to be the Prime Minister passing the streets, or maybe the King of England. But the best dressed black man, they say it's a coon going down, because he represents nothing. But a white man walks with the respect of the whole town. You may kick down the Negro anywhere, but if you touch the white man, you may stir up war. The Japanese claimed that one Japanese soldier was missing, and they mobilized the whole army to look for one soldier. And that is partly the cause of the war between China and Japan at the present time. Do you think anything would be done if a Negro were lost? Not a chance. No great scientist would be mourned. No great engineer would be lost. As a matter of fact, nothing would be lost. What I say of Toronto is true of the whole world. Do you know how many Negroes have graduated from the universities in America? And up to now, they haven't come together yet with a college of scientists to surprise the world? As physicians, they resort to the old formula of Epsom salt and castor oil. Every Negro chemist has done the same right down the ages. They haven't discovered any dangerous chemicals to kill out a whole population like Mussolini did. The white people know that the Negro is no good but to sell peanuts. Now, my friends, you have to get out of that state of mind. You will have to lift yourselves intellectually. You must give to the world your adventurers, your discoverers. Some of you have been to school and have read everything through the history and the biography of men. In the Dominion, here you have read of Wolfe, who stormed Quebec. Wolfe was a white man who stormed Quebec for white men. And white men who come after Wolfe will never forget the Dominion belongs to them. Columbus left the old world to discover the new, to turn it over to his masters. And do you think the white man is going to turn it over to you just because of your good looks? Negroes, when you talk big and do nothing, people just laugh at you. In America, where most of you come from, if you think that white men are going to turn it over to you, you can wait a long time. If you think they are not proud of what the Pilgrim Fathers did, or what the Rough Riders did to dislodge the Indians, you make a big mistake. You are only going to have what you get by your own initiative. So you had better go about getting what you want now in the proper way. We are not going to get it by worrying God about it, because He is not a political agent of anybody. He is not a surveyor. God has given you the character to get anything you want without playing God. And there is only one man playing God, and that is Father Divine. We are not going to play God. We are just going to play man. What man has done, we are going to do. He has built kingdoms, empires, municipalities, townships. He has brought civilization to a state of his own appreciation. You will have to do the same. I wonder if you understand what I mean. I mean that you will have to go out into the world sooner or later for your own security. If you want anything in the world, you will have to be your own Drakes, your own Raleighs, your own Columbuses. It was the buccaneering spirit of Drake and Raleigh that gave the English an idea of a merchant marine and a navy. Before it was made real, it existed in the imagination. Everything you do was first fashioned in your mind, and if you can see as far as the fathers of the race have looked, then you will go the length with me, so that we may hand out to succeeding generations what Drake and Raleigh handed down to the British people at home. Negroes say they haven't anything to do when, as a matter of fact, they haven't touched their jobs yet. That great structure that you must hand down the ages. The white man has built up and can now rest. The white man is trying to go up higher. If you don't mind, he will be right where God is in a short while and be saying hello. The white man is thinking all the time, never resting, never sleeping, always thinking to win great laurels. My friends, you are in a dangerous position. Your position is this. Just imagine it. There is one loaf of bread on the table. There are two occupants in the house. The bread naturally is sufficient for both. There is no dispute about sharing the loaf, because everybody feels that eating half the loaf would be satisfactory. But when a third person comes in, what is the general attitude towards this loaf? My friends, we are tolerated because there is enough in the world for anybody to have a crumb. But when the world becomes incapable of giving to every man his share, somebody's going to get what he is looking for. If you want a share of this earth until eternity, get busy. You see what Japan is doing? Why are they spending millions and billions of pounds? The Negro isn't spending kwati. Why? Because you don't know what it is all about. The English have a fleet of nearly 3,000 aeroplanes to carry bombs around to protect themselves. How many have you? I'm going to show you how naked we are. Even the Indians have started to now seek their independence. Gandhi has inspired them. The Jews got their government in Palestine, and you are the only people who haven't realised the reality of life. It is up to you to go away from this meeting and think it over. It is only a pity it is so late for me to stir up your minds to your duty and your responsibility. But I will make time enough to speak to you so you may realise your duty and responsibility. The white man has his burden carrying. He must watch other people and watch himself. Remember, my friends, I have told you that it is necessary that some men look after the bodies of men. I want to be able to walk down the road and say to every man, you are my equal, my brother, and only look to God as my superior. Nobody is paying any attention to you until you can do things yourself. You must realise that your function is to create, and if you think about it in a proper way, you will find work to do. Nature is still untouched. The problems of the world are still unsettled, and there is one good thing: there is no prejudice where brain is concerned. If you use your brain, you will have the world running after you. Do you understand why Mussolini hid himself away for 15 years? It was to build up a powerful navy. When the British found out that Italy had not been sleeping, she said, we cannot go to war now, because our ships will be lost at sea before we reach port. Before we start, we must discover something to stop perpetual motion in the air. The great Minister of War has satisfied the English that they will be able to stop any power in the air. When you are able to stop motor power from destroying Africa, you will have won. Think in that line and let us know what you can produce. You men of the Negro race have the same political and intellectual power as other races, but you have not used that power. I want you to challenge the Columbuses and the Washingtons and the Wolves. The job is mine, and when we have done it completely, even though we do not care about it, they will build their monuments to us as they did to Nelson and others. Isn't that better than to be found playing dice, playing jazz, and dancing your life away so that everybody will remember you for discovering something? You will live in men's minds. Stevenson, when he discovered the steam engine, lived in men's minds. And you can live in the minds of men, for what man has done, men may do. I am going to close hoping that you will understand and appreciate the things I have been saying to you. Members of the UNIA, appreciate what I have been saying. And that is why you are here. Let us not be found wanting. Let us go marching unto destiny. I'd like to thank the pastor of the church for allowing us to have this meeting here today. I am not one of those who condemn the Church of God. The Church of God is eternal. We must recognize God in our souls, in our lives. God is greater than us. Then let us recognize that God. I believe in God. And when the Universal Negro Improvement Association has no God, I am out of it.
That was an Honor Level production.
Things bad now, but trust me, them could get worse. Unless, of course, we come together and do something first. And all the mothers go and pray, because it's going to take a lot more than a politician to see the deal. So when the youths them need a bus, give them opportunity first. Because if them sit down on a loss, then it's not safe in none of us. And the guns we used to rust, I go rise up from the dust. Police and soldiers have to duck. When them hear the guns a bust, will war a go on in a era. Me nah have no time for pain in that. Me a watch the youths up on the block, I rise the SK and the Glock. In the safe we go a shop, even pick me them a drop. Now tell me what we gonna do about that. A long time we did a one day. Say the youths them need to eat some food, and that alone can calm them. Them never listen when them hear shot at Jesus. Well here comes the storm.
You've just been listening to Marcus Garvey Speaks, originally delivered August 1937. This concludes day 26, and we want to thank Damien Morgan for today's narration. Damien Morgan also goes by the pseudonym Lil D. Close people who know Damien will tell you that he has a passion and a talent for being creative in the arts from a very young age. Damien also liked to perform music, drama on stage as a teenager. He became part of a rap group called Ill Finesse. Damien has always been a fan of music, especially hip-hop. After 3 years of studying at university, Damien graduated in 2004 with a BA Honours degree. Back in his hometown, Damien runs his own business, Dynamex Enterprise, with the intention to create varieties of activities involving his creative outlook on film/video production, creative writing, music, and events. Since developing his own business, Damien found himself interviewing some of the top artists and professional characters in the industry that had inspired him growing up. hip-hop artists and groups such as Public Enemy, Professor Griff, Chuck D, Wu-Tang Clan, Sugar Hill Gang, Mally Mal, Joe Budden, and Slum Village, just to name a few. Damien is the author of Hip Hop Had a Dream, but as well as writing his own books, Damien released Hip Hop Had a Dream, the documentary, as well as Hip Hop Album, Volume Hip Hop Had a Dream, the worldwide tape. Damien says he was thrilled to take part in the Garvey project, especially because his family had a tradition of being Garveyites from the UK to the Caribbean and Canada. We welcome your comments, opinions, and feedback on the Resurrection and Marcus Garvey series so far. Should you wish to share, you can email us on honorlevel@hotmail.co.uk. That's on-a-level@hotmail.co.uk.
They say the revolution won't be televised. I guess that's why the world turned and paused and mourned when Tupac and Malcolm died. All my bloods and thugs and Harlem Nights keep reading, keep writing, keep fighting for our queens, fools, pawns, trading kings live for temporary cars and charms. I'm the son of Nat Turner, the godson of Nikki Giovanni, nephew of Asada Shakur, second son of Afeni Shakur. So you know the pride of the Panthers in me. Marcus Garvey's red, black, and green is in me. Fools getting shot down, locked up for material living. This is all genocide. Let's get free or die trying to save our nation and children. Let's get free or die trying to save our nation and children. Let's get free or die trying to save our nation and children.
As you know, in this series, we are paying homage to Marcus Mosiah Garvey, as Black History Month is all about celebration. So join me to give a few shout-outs, starting with Garvey's parents, Mama Sarah Jane Richards and Pops Marcus Garvey Sr. We also want to pay homage to those esteemed ancestors who paved the way for Marcus to appear on the world stage. We also pay homage to the graduates of the School of African Philosophy and all of the founding members and supporters of the UNIA. Last but not least, we pay special homage and tribute to his esteemed wife, Amy Jakes Garvey, who was a formidable leader in her own right. Mrs. Garvey kept her husband's legacy alive, and it is partly because of her loving efforts that we can share this groundbreaking series with you today. Tune in tomorrow at the same time for the resurrection of Marcus Mosiah Garvey, with me, Jermaine Brown. I'm going to leave you with the famous anthem that Marcus Garvey and the UNIA members had wanted to be adopted as the universal anthem for black people across the globe. Let's take a moment to listen and feel free to wave your red, black and green flag should you have one.
Up to my race, you can accomplish what you will.
Ethiopia, thou land of our fathers, thou land where the gods love to be. A storm cloud at night suddenly gathers, all armies come rushing to thee. We must in the fight be victorious when swords are thrust outward to gleam. For us will the victory be glorious when led by the red, black and green. Advance, advance to victory, let Africa be free. Advance to meet the foe, advance to meet the foe, with the might of the red, the black and the green, with the might of the red, the black and the green. O Jehovah, thou God of the ages, grant unto our sons that need the thou gave to thy sages when Israel was sore in need. Thy voice to the dim past has spoken, Ethiopia shall stretch forth her hand. By thee shall all fetters be broken, and heaven bless our dear motherland. Advance, advance to victory.